Hey, what's up everyone? Larry Dingleberry back at it again, coming at you today with a breakdown on the classified Tactician gear set. Now today I'm going to be bringing you a few different builds, a few different ways you can spin this to your liking. Don't worry, I'm going to go through it as fast as possible. First I want to kind of explain and break down how the Tactician set actually works, since it is a little bit confusing, but other than that we're going to be going into slideshow mode. After that I'll be showing you the different builds as well as how these stacks actually will affect your skills. So if you are new to the channel and you enjoy this content, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content, and drop a comment down there. Let me know what you're thinking about this build. So other than that guys, let's get into it. Alright, so I guess we should probably go over what the Tactician set actually does, right? The 2-piece gives you that 15% skill haste, the 3-piece gives you 10% skill power, and the 4-piece gives you Tactician's authority. Every bullet you hit your enemies with adds 1% bonus skill power. Every bullet your deployed skill hits enemies with adds 0.2% bonus skill power. Skill power bonus max is 30%. Bonus is consumed on skill use. So before you could only get a 30 stack, and then use it, and whatever skill you used it on, you got that bonus skill power too. Now we get another 5% skill haste and another 5% skill power, so we should be sitting at 20% skill haste and 15% skill power up, and we get this right here. This is a little confusing. I'm still getting used to it, honestly. It's definitely something different. They really had to think about this one. Using a skill while at the max bonus, or 30 stack it should say, will reset the skill power buff but will raise the cap to 60%. Using a different skill at 60% has a 40%, remember 40%, has a 40% chance to set the buff power back to 30%, so only knocking it down halfway, while keeping the cap at 60, so you can get that 60 cap easily when you're already at 30. This chance is increased by 20% for every 3,000 electronics. So again, we're going by 3,000 electronics, and you get 20% for every 3,000 that you have. So you have that base of 4,000, or I'm sorry, 40%. So if you have 3,000 electronics, you should be getting 60%, have a 60% chance for it to only go back to 30. If you're at 6,000, should have an 80% chance for it to only go back to 30. And at 9,000, it should be 100% chance it will only go back to 30. And you can just keep getting that, up to the 60 stack. Now, let me show you how that works out, and just to clear things up a little more. Let's first just get a 30 stack. Alright. Get that, it's cleared up. Okay, so gonna use a skill. Now you can see that it has gone away. There's no more 30 stack, but now I can get 60. Okay, so let's keep on going here. Got 60, and you can see that now my pulse is highlighted green there, and that's telling me that that is the skill that I have to use to get that skill buff. You can't just keep on going back and using the same skill. You keep popping your overdose and keep getting that same bonus. You have to swap over, and I think that's one of the downfalls. But either way, then you can use that, and since we are at 9,000, see how it only went down to 30%, or 30%, 30 stack, and then we can easily get back up to another 60, and then it goes back to the other. Can use that. So I hope that kind of clears it up a little bit, guys. I mean, it is a little bit complicated. The only downfall to this is that I kind of see people hoarding their skills a little bit, and just not doing what they should be when they should be, trying to heal a teammate, etc. Just hoarding your skills, trying to get the stack up, and dying doing so. That's probably going to be what is going to be happening for the most part. Even though when you do have a stack, it doesn't matter if it's a 15 stack or a 55 stack, you're still going to get a increased bonus. Every number on there is 1% bonus. So use your skills however you can. It's just people, I can see them trying to get to the max. The only other thing is people are going to use their skill before they get to the stack of 30, obviously missing the chance to get to the 60 and the higher skill damage, anything that the crit chance, whatever you're going for with your skills. So this is definitely a skill management build, that is for sure. So other than that, guys, let's go into the breakdown of the builds and the skills so I can show you how much this actually does work with your skills and the build. Alright guys, so as you can see, on this build here, we have broken the 9,000 benchmark for that electronics at 9,200. The stamina is at 3,214, and the firearms 3,410. Now I know the firearms and stamina is terrible. I was going back and forth with this, but this is all I could really get to work. It's really hard when you're speccing completely for electronics compared to stamina or anything like that. You are extremely squishy, and you don't have very much firepower to put them down. You're basically relying on your skills to keep you alive, and I mean, it's a little bit tougher to play with this. Now, all of the mods on the gear sets here are going to be spec'd for basically skill haste or health, since again we're very squishy, and the secondary mods there are all just pulse duration mods, so that when we get that pulse and that crit chance up, it lasts a long time. Now, what that build was basically comprised of was 5 pieces rolled to electronics plus your holster, and I was also using 2 firearm mods, 1 stamina, and 2 electronics. The crit hit chance was 39.5%, the crit hit damage 85%, headshot damage 55%, with skill haste at 30%. Not too bad. Alright guys, so basically what I did here was I picked my top 3 skills that I think you could benefit from on this build. Obviously that sticky bomb on there because everyone's going for that one shot, and honestly I haven't got it to work yet. If you have, let me know how you have, because it's not working for me. You get them down to low health, but it's not a one shot. So either way, the skills that I did choose to put on here was the Recon Pack Pulse, the Overdose, and the BFB Sticky Bomb. I was going to do the Life Support Station, but honestly, looking at the numbers, you can even go ahead and double check me. It is not worth it. If you're going to drop it and pop it, that's one thing, but using it to keep your team alive or to help you regain health, it's just not really worth it unless you got a 60 stack. So moving on, I basically am just going to kind of go with these 3. So the Pulse crit hit chance and damage base is 38.8% with this build. That's pretty good. Headshot damage 55% and a cooldown of 17.6 seconds. With a 30 stack, your crit hit chance and damage goes up to 49.6% with a cooldown of 15.6 seconds. And the 60 stack, your crit hit chance and damage goes to 55.6%. That's huge. That's 5 off of the cap, so that's awesome. With a 14.7 second cooldown, even better. The self-heal base on the Overdose is 315,000. The cooldown is 25.8 seconds. With a 30 stack, you get that 402,000 self-heal with 22.9 second cooldown. And with the 60 stack, you get 451,000 HP back. That's massive, with a 21.6 second cooldown. Now the sticky bomb here, we got the damage. The base is 916,000 with a cooldown of 27.5 seconds. With a 30 stack, you get 1.187 million hit points with 23 second cooldown, and a 60 stack, you get 1.339 million hit points with a 21.1 second cooldown. Not too bad, guys. This is pretty awesome. These are really strong, but in my opinion, that's not the way to go. Now, also, notice how I have put the cooldown time changes up there. That is a big thing. If you pop whatever, your heal, your pulse, anything at a 60 cap, it is definitely a shorter cooldown time than if it was at 30 or the base. So just keep that in the back of your head. Alright, so this build here is a little bit more, I guess you could say, on the safe side. The firearms are at 5280, so you got a little bit more knockdown power. Stamina is at 4391, so you're not quite as squishy. Still squishy, but not as bad. And you still have that over 6,000 benchmark for the electronics, so you will still have a 80% chance for your stack to stay at 30. As well as being able to unlock all of your weapon talents for the most part, and just having a little bit more survivability in general, as well as still having pretty strong skill power. Now, what that build was comprised of was 2 pieces rolled for firearms, 2 to electronics, 1 for stamina, plus your holster, And the mods I was using was 4 electronics and 1 stamina. Now the crit hit chance for that build was 40%, the crit hit damage 108%, headshot damage 55%, with skill haste at 34%. Not too bad. Alright, so once again, how about we break down the skill strength for this build. The crit hit chance and damage from the pulse is at 25.6% base. The headshot damage is at 55% with a cooldown of 19 seconds. Now I know the headshot damage does not increase with the pulse. The crit hit chance and damage to headshots increases, but the base headshot damage does not change. I just simply put it up there because it kind of mimics the character sheet a little bit more, kind of showing you, giving you a little bit more of a roundabout number of how much damage you're actually going to be putting out, if that makes sense. So just putting that out there. I don't want anyone to get confused or anything like that. Now with a 30 stack, the crit hit chance and damage goes up to 33%, and the cooldown goes down to 17.6 seconds. With a 60 stack, you get 40.3% crit hit chance and damage. That's huge, with a 16.1 second cooldown. Now, this is why I was saying don't really spec for crit chance or damage, because you're going to be getting a lot from the pulse, and it should be very easy to reach the max on this build, in my opinion. The self-heal from the overdose is 198,000 base with a cooldown of 28.4 seconds. The 30 stack gives you 254,000. That's not bad, I mean, for being at 6,000 electronics, and a 25.8 second cooldown. With a 60 stack, you get 311k back with 23.6 second cooldown. Awesome. This is not bad. The sticky bomb here, we have the base damage at 584,000 with a cooldown of 33 seconds. The 30 stack gives you 769,000 with 28.5 seconds, and the 60 stack gives you 953,000, still almost a million, with a 24.9 second cooldown. Alright guys, so with this final build, as you can see, we changed things up a little bit. We have the firearms at 7165, stamina 4661, and electronics at 4094. The benefit for this build is obviously higher firearms, so you can put them down quicker, with electronics still being over 3,000. So you will still be getting a 60% chance for your buff to only be reset back to 30, which in this game, a 60% chance is pretty good, especially when it's the low percentage compared to the 6,000 or the 9,000 electronics builds that I just showed you. So, you know, keep that in mind. You know, I'm sure I could put a little bit more into stamina, sure, but I was just going for something with more firearms, put them down as quick as possible, and still have a decent chance, 60% chance actually, to get that 30 stack back after the 60. So it works pretty good. So what that set was comprised of was 3 pieces rolled to firearms, 1 for stamina and 1 for electronics plus your holster. I was using 3 firearm mods with 2 stamina mods. The crit hit chance for that build was 39%, crit hit damage 115%, with a headshot damage of 55%, skill haste sitting at 34%. 34% skill haste, guys, that is not bad. Alright, so one last time, let's break down the skill strength for this build. The crit hit chance and damage is at 15.4% with a cooldown of 22 seconds. Now, you might not think 15.4% is very much, but with a 39% base crit hit chance on the build, you're sitting at 54% right here. So again, you're not doing too bad with this 4K build. That's pretty high crit hit chance if you ask me. The cap is 60, so I mean you're approaching it pretty quick there. Now with the 30 stack, you get 20% crit hit chance and damage with a cooldown of 21 seconds, and at the 60 stack you get 24.7% crit hit chance and damage up with a 19.6 second cooldown. Really, I mean, under 20 seconds, that's pretty good, I'd say. Now, the self-heal for the overdose here, the base is 118,000 with a cooldown of 33.1 seconds. The 30 stack gives you 154,000 self-heal with 30.8 second cooldown, and the 60 stack you get 190,000 self-heal with 28.8 second cooldown, so not even 30 seconds. So, you know, again, this is not, it's not terrible, it's not optimal, but it's not terrible, I would say. It will suffice. The damage from the sticky bomb, the base is 325,000, so that's still going to rock somebody, ruin their day at least a little bit. You're going to probably have to pop a med kit, but either way, the cooldown on that is only 43 seconds. The 30 stack, you get 442,000 damage with a 38.4 second cooldown, and with a 60 stack, you're hitting them still with, you know, over 500,000, 559,000 damage with a 34.2 second cooldown. Again, not too bad for something with only 4,000 electronics. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it helps you out a little bit and gives you more of an idea of how you can, you know, make this build work for your playstyle. Alright guys, well, there you have it. I hope that cleared some things up for you and helped you out in some way, maybe gave you an idea on how you can use this gear set to your liking, you know, whether you want to go full electronics or, you know, more DPS or, you know, just something right in the middle. You know, it's all up to you, and you can decide, you know, with those skill numbers how you might want to do so. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful in any way, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content. That really does help out the channel a lot, and drop a comment down there, let me know what you're thinking about this build. Other than that, guys, I'll catch you next time. Later.